guys? Welcome to Knockers on the Bottom. I'm your host, Jay Mill. Jay Miller, if you like. So let's get into it. So now, part two of the Giants Cowboys. We're going to take a look at the Giants defense against some of the things that the Cowboys might like to do, and show you some of the things that they have trouble with, in hopes that we can take advantage and exploit some of those things. So, and also we'll get into some picks as well, since it is actually game day. So let's get to it. So we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lined up here, backed up on their own goal line. It looks like they have 5 down linemen, Bucky Irvin to the right of Baker Mayfield, and the Giants match it with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the box. Now, one of the things I noticed here just by alignment, the Giants, because you got the tight end here too, sorry. So you got 6 guys down for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but the Giants overload this side. So even though Bucky Irvin's lined up here, they are strong on this side. I don't know why that is. Maybe there could be a stunt coming over here, with maybe this guy rushing down hard inside, and then this guy looping around. But they see the shotgun. They're lined up heavy to one side, just kind of overloading because the tight end's there. If I'm the Buccaneers, and honestly, I didn't get a chance to roll this play yet, so I don't know if they decide to, but I would be running right here. I would hopefully pull this guy around, have the center go down, have him and have the tight end secure the outside, and have that guy pulling around to try to get on this guy and get Bucky Irvin right up there. Or I'd run like some sort of screen to this side as well. But let's take a look. So before the ball snaps, the Giants smartly, pre-snap, shift some linebackers over. So now that takes away what I was talking about. They still have 7 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in the box here. So, now, even though it's okay to still run in this situation. I know this is a rushing play. I just didn't know, which way the rushing play was going to go, as far as what hole Bucky was going to pick. But now with the alignment, it looks a little bit better for the Giants here. So let's take a look. So the ball snap, boom. So Giants, to their credit, they were right off the pre-snap. They were right to be overloaded to that side. And they shifted back so that the numbers are more even up the field. But Bucky Irvin gets the ball. This guy actually pulls this way, right? So I was talking about the guy pulling that way, but he actually pulls this way. You got this guy, the tackle, securing the block on the outside. And the Giants look to be in okay position here to turn this into, just a regular gain. Boom. This play is dead, right? This play should be over. The Giants played okay. They got everybody there, but nope. He does not get the guy down. And this is what we're going to see a lot of today. The Giants are very similar to the Cowboys in the fact that they're a poor tackling defense there. So the Cowboys, of course, have played better in recent weeks as far as tackling is concerned. They had a couple of bad plays against the Houston Texans. They kind of cleaned some of that up here against the Washington Commanders. So the hope is that while they're playing the Giants here, they get to clean some of this stuff up even more. But when we're talking about on the offensive side, I mean, you got a guy like Rico Dowdle who's good to and through the hole and good making guys miss. I mean, this is going to be one of those types of days here. So now you get Bucky Irvin into the secondary. What happens? Giants take bad angles. Guys miss tackles. Baker Mayfield's downfield blocking guys. Bucky Irvin's still going. That kind of slowed him up just a little bit to allow the rest of the guys to get there and bring them down. But as you can see, there's going to be a really good chance for Rico Dowdle to get through and exploit some of these things that the Giants do poorly. So let's take a look at the Cowboys, right? This is a very similar setup, right? I mean, Rico Dowdle is lined up in the same area Bucky Irvin was, same down lineman. I mean, even the tight ends lined up in the same spot. I know this is not last week against the Commanders, but it just shows you that this type of play is in the Cowboys' bag as far as the personnel, the lining up. The Eagles have 6 guys on in the box to match it because they don't believe the Cowboys can run well. Let's hope the Giants think the same thing. So on the snap of the ball, Eagles don't move at all. Cooper Rush gets it. Boom, hands it off to Rico. Rico sees this guy in the hole, right? Very similar to the play against the Buccaneers with the Giants right now, right? This play should be dead in the water. This guy should be shooting, and he should be aiming for Rico Dowdle's outside shoulder, right? He should be shooting up the field, aiming for that shoulder because he has this guy here to help on the inside. So technique-wise, shoot that gap right now. Shoot that gap right now. Aim here. It doesn't mean you have to hit him high. You can hit him in the waist. You can go for the thighs here, but make sure you're aiming there to get that guy out of the way. Boom, Rico. Nice move in the hole. Just gets him. Now, if that guy would have shot that gap, and attacked that shoulder, Rico can't make that. This guy comes off this block, and this is probably tackled here for a 3-yard gain, 4-yard gain. What happens? Instead, Rico Dowdle makes a move, makes that guy miss. Now this play is no longer dead in the water. And kind of the same thing that happened with Bucky Irving. Luckily, that guy got his hand on him to help slow him up and allow the rest of the guys to get there. But as you can see, the Cowboys do have the opportunity to do this type of thing, the same thing the Buccaneers were doing last week to the New York Giants. Now, I'm not saying Rico Dowdle is as fast or as good as Bucky Irving. I do believe Bucky Irving is a slightly better running back than Rico Dowdle just from a speed standpoint alone. But Rico, while he might not get 56 yards on that play, he can get 19 like he got on this play. He can get 30. So if that type of stuff happens, I'd love to see them gash the Giants in the running game, right? So let's take a look again. So now we have a little bit different of a setup, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a little bit more spread out. They have the 5 down linemen and a tight end. They have a 4 wide receiver set, sorry. Actually, just 5 linemen, no tight end. Tight end's out in the field, but he's more split out like a wide receiver instead of lined up in your traditional inline tight end role. Bucky Irvin's still there. 4 wide receivers out. The Giants match it with 6 guys in the box, right? Nickel formation, 2 safeties, and they have these 1 corners playing decent depth, right? Then you have another guy who's the safety. He's playing pretty far off. His responsibility might be this guy, but that responsibility might fall on the linebacker, and this corner's playing at okay depth as well. So let's see what happens. So on the snap of the ball, you get a little bit of motion here. Well, before the ball snap, you get a little bit of motion here. Giants shift with it, right? So that's Bucky Irving here going in motion. That's White in the backfield. And the Giants shift to match it because they know, hey, man, Bucky is one of those guys that we got to look out for as far as Tampa with the playmakers. Baker Mayfield does a great job of getting the ball out to Bucky Irving, and now we see that it's a numbers game, right? This guy's getting blocked. This guy's coming out here. This guy's in good position. You don't have to have a perfect block. Now, when I say this, when I'm showing you guys this, it doesn't mean that I think as the play rolls, all these guys are going to be blocked perfectly, and that's how Bucky Irvin's going to get these yards. No. It's getting guys out in front and providing lanes for your running back, right? Because your running back, hopefully you have a good vision guy, and Bucky Irving is a good vision guy. So he's looking and he sees, okay, you're kind of walling that guy off, even if you're not totally blocking him, and I can take an inside route. Or you're walling that guy off, but you're not completely blocking him, and I can take an outside route. Or you squared up on that man, and you're about to drive him in the ground, so I can just run right up your backside and follow right behind you. Sometimes it is perfectly blocked. But as you can see here, boom, Bucky Irving does a good job sorting through the trash, following his blocks, following those lanes, and pretty much getting all the way down to the 1-yard line, almost scoring here, almost scoring a touchdown. It was really, really close. But the Cowboys, again, are going to have some opportunities to exploit things like this. So now we're looking at a very similar setup, except we have 3 wide receivers to the top. Our tight ends lined up a little more tight to the line of scrimmage. And then we have 1 wide receiver at the bottom. You have the running back there. So this one's against the Baltimore Ravens. Again, not necessarily showing you what happened last week against the Commanders, but showing you the type of plays that the Cowboys run that will be successful against this Giants defense if they do it. All right, so let's take a look. Ravens match it similar to the way the Buccaneers did. They've got a nickel formation with the 2 linebackers back there. Ball comes out. Boom. So on the snap of the ball, you got some good protection for Mr. Prescott, right? You got this guy getting up the field. Receiver does a great job. He's selling his route. He's going. So the cornerback is turned around, and because the Cowboys did a good job of creating numbers on this side, when Rico slips out here, there's not many people around, right? So, boom, Rico gets it, follows his block, of course, right? and now he's just into the open field, just trying to make as many guys miss as possible. Boom, makes a guy miss, gets off of that tackle. Third guy finally helps bring him down, but that ends up being 18 yards for Rico Dowdle. And the Cowboys did a great job just by alignment, just by numbers, creating a good mismatch for Rico Dowdle in order for them to have good numbers and be able to try to sustain this drive and put pressure on the defense. So once again, I'm going to have another one here, right? Okay. I thought I had this all set up and good to go. So we got another play here, which the Cowboys, like I said, going to be able to have some success here. So you got Tampa lined up, 5 down linemen, you got their tight end closer to the line of scrimmage. The Giants match it again with 6 guys in the box, right? And this is what I'm hoping for today. Because if they're doing it against Tampa, and they're going to do it against us, it must just be a defensive philosophy. I'm hoping that they're not stacking that box with 7 or 8 guys. And if they are, then that means CeeDee Lamb has one-on-ones on the outside, and I'll take that all day long. Please cover CeeDee Lamb one-on-one, please, because he will just tear this game up. So Bucky Irvin's lined up in the backfield, or actually that's White. So Rachaad White is lined up in the backfield, and boom. All right, on the snap of the ball, when White gets the ball, you see that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have this blocked up pretty darn well. Looks like White has a nice hole here. The Giants, one-on-one, it's okay. Their defensive rush is okay, right? You got a lot of square guys. Dexter Lawrence there. Let's not let him get after it. But you got a lot of guys squared to the line of scrimmage, right? They do a good job here. They chip Dexter Lawrence because they know, hey man, if somebody's gonna ruin this play or every play, this is gonna be the guy. And it's the same thing for the Cowboys. Number 97 is a beast. He is a monster, okay? He is one of the couple of guys, right? Because the Giants do have a couple of guys on defense that can do things. Brian Burns is a good player. Ojulari, I don't think is actually playing this week, so I don't think he'll actually be in there. But Dexter Lawrence, man, he's the real deal. And he's one of those guys that if you don't account for him on every single play, he's going to wreck the game. But the Buccaneers do a good job here. Again, just a little extra chip on him. To give White time to get to and through the hole, but also to just help this guy here, making sure that he gets a chance to get a little more square on his block. If you can get a chip here on him and make it a little more difficult for him just not to be able to get up the field, right? So he stopped his momentum. So now this guy has a little bit more of a chance to set. And this is going to be Cooper Beebe, right? And I think this week this is going to be Tyler Bass. Because I do think Tyler Smith is playing. So Bass played very well last week, and I expect him to do something similar, to kind of help BB out. I expect Tyler Smith to also be doing something similar to the other side, right? So now, boom, you got a lane, you got an alleyway. And now that Lawrence has been chipped, it allows this guy to hold his block just long enough, because if it was just a one-on-one, Lawrence probably blows this play up. This guy gets over here. You have a nice little wall now. And again, boom. That guy didn't even hit his block, right? And this is something that CeeDee Lamb has been doing very well this season. If this is CeeDee Lamb, he probably gets enough of him to keep the play going. But boom, that guy gets off the block, so now the play is pretty much over. But that's still a great 8-yard gain, for that running back, just off of execution alone and making sure that you know your personnel, right? Like knowing your personnel, KOP, that is huge. That is huge because you can't treat everybody the same. I know a lot of times when we used to play in the old Jason Garrett days, he used to say a lot of things like, it's about us. It's about our execution. We need to be on the moon and wherever we play. But a lot of times the Cowboys ended up in bad situations because they didn't know their personnel and they wanted to line up and beat you one-on-one everywhere across the board. And that's beautiful. If you have an extremely talented team, if you have the Detroit Lions, you probably can do that because you have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jahmyr Gibbs and Sam Laporta and the best offensive line in football. So maybe you don't necessarily have to feel like you need to double a defensive lineman, or scheme certain things. But what you really want to do is you want to have a marriage of good personnel and good scheme, because that's what takes you to the next level. That's what a team like the Detroit Lions had. That's what a team like the San Francisco 49ers have had for all these years. The Cowboys, the reason why they've had some trouble this season is because their personnel isn't as good, right? But they've been running a very similar, well, we're going to just line up and win our one-on-one battles and beat you scheme. Now that Cooper Rush is in there, the coach is getting in his bag a little bit and making sure to try to scheme some things in different areas because he knows his personnel isn't necessarily as good. It sucks that it took us all these weeks to find out. Maybe it's because there's a lot of young guys and they haven't been executing all the plays correctly. Whatever it is. But now we're here, and let's see how the Cowboys do in a similar situation. So, I mean, this is a very similar formation to the one we just watched, from the Buccaneers. I think the Buccaneers had maybe no, actually they have one tight end. I think the Cowboys have two tight ends here, right? But it's a very similar formation. Heavy, you got your receivers tight end here as well to make sure that they're there to block. So the Commanders match it with 7 in the box. On the snap of the ball, boom. Rico Dowdle is out there. He has a lane. He has a nice lane, right? Guyton, one of the few times this game where he didn't get a penalty. It seemed like he was getting penalized every other play. You got Brock Hoffman here executing nice. You got BB executing nice. You got Bass. You got your tight ends here doing what they're supposed to do. But this guy can't shoot the gap here. There's not much of a gap. But if he shoots that gap, he can ruin this play. But he doesn't shoot the gap, right? He gets caught up in the trash. Boom. Now, this is where the speed aspect gets you. Because if this guy had a little bit more speed here, it could be a problem. But that's okay. Still a good game. Still very well blocked. And like I said, it's a 9-yard run, right? So it's not a 30-yard run or a 40-yard run. But if the Cowboys can consistently do this type of thing on first and second down, that was first down, this particular scenario, and it worked out well. Kept the Cowboys in good down and distance and kept them out of long yardage and allowed them to kind of play their game, keep the whole playbook open. So I expect to see that today. Now on to picks. I am picking the Dallas Cowboys to win this game. If I got to give you guys a score, let's say the Cowboys 23 and the Giants 9, right? Maybe it's a touchdown and a missed field goal, or they try to go for 2 and then a regular field goal to make it 9. But yeah, 23-9. I think the Cowboys win by 14 points. They get their first home victory of the year. I think some of the standouts are definitely going to be Rico Dowdle. I also think CeeDee Lamb has another really awesome game because the Cowboys just look for him and make sure that he's involved early and often, which gets the offense kind of going. I think Cooper Rush, he might have 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, maybe just above 200 yards. But I do think this will be a grinded out, very ball-controlled, defensive game for both teams. I mean, 23-9, that's not a lot of points in the NFL. And that last, to get to 23, it takes 4 quarters. So, I mean, it could be, 13-6, midway through the third quarter and the Cowboys are winning or something like along those lines. So just know it's going to be a very grinded out type of game. I don't expect all the fireworks. We're not going to get a last 5 minutes like we just got this past week against the Commanders. But that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow me on Twitter at @JMiller@IYL. It's Jay Miller if you like. You can also hit me up via email, knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. Again, that's knockersonthebottom@outlook.com. You can also leave comments below if there's any specific questions that you have or anything that you want me to cover. I'll take them here. I'll take them via Twitter. I'll take them via email, put them all into a mailbag, make it a formal segment. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If we get to 50, I'm going to give away some stuff. So I just want to try to get there. We're almost at 30. Let's keep it going. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy today with you and your family, regardless of the outcome of the Cowboys game. Remember to be thankful. We have a lot of things going on in this world, and it's just nice to have a day with friends and family to just kind of put everything to the side and chill out and veg and, just eat some good food and good vibes and all that good stuff. So, and if you're, out there today and you're not necessarily with friends or family, I love you too. I love you too. I'm here for you. But thank you guys. I love you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. So much to be thankful for. Life is beautiful and precious. You guys have a great day. Until next time, I'm your host, Jay Miller if you like. This has been Knockers on the Bottom. Peace.